What's up, YouTube? We are live with you guys today. Let me get some music going in the background while we get everything set up. There we go. All right, so now that we've got the YouTube going, let me start our recording.
What's up,
I guess
YouTube?
I won't record. That's fine. Oh, well. All right, so, all right, we got everything else going. We're ready to go to start trying to record. I can help put my finger over the record button for an hour. It was a rain-delayed race, so maybe it'll be a rain delay, or nah, never mind.
If we have a rain-delayed podcast,
You know,
that'd be a
that had
problem.
so much potential in
I
your
did.
road.
I just ran out. It's been a really long
We'll
weekend.
get all the links real quick.
It's been a long day.
Yeah,
We've been
Once
here a long
Lindsay
time.
sends
it's
it
been
to
a
us.
long 2 days. Because for anyone that hasn't been checking up on us, yesterday we pulled pretty much an all-day event. We were watching the Formula One race in Monaco. We watched the Indy 500, and we were gonna watch the Coke 6 or the 600, but
Get
well,
that product placement.
for our free sponsor. So yeah, it's been a long day. So we're gonna start the show here in just a little bit, but we wanted to make sure. I just noticed that the helmet is not centered, but that's okay.
And
It's not moving.
Merry Motorsports Christmas,
Yep.
everyone.
Yeah.
Merry Motorsports
there you go.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It came a day late this year, but that's okay.
No, we just got an extra day.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
that's true. We got
That's
an
all it
extra
was.
day
It was a 2-day
It was
instead of a
2-day
1-day.
Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, let me know. Are you guys ready to
Yeah,
try
we're
to
just
start?
dropping on the links real quick.
Okay, let me
on
know when you're
social
ready, and we'll
media.
start that.
Merry Motorsports Christmas.
I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
fade the music out, so we're gonna lose some of our background. Sorry, everyone, because
Boring.
yeah, I know.
Boo.
Listen, I've only got one
Ew.
computer. Ew. Jeez. All right. Wow. Thanks, guys. So yeah. So I'm ready to go when you guys are. So just let me know when you want me to hit that, and then we'll start going.
All good on my end. So
Okay.
Whenever y'all are ready.
All right. Then I shall start us off, and let's see how long my finger hovers over the button this week. Not that long, apparently. Merry Motorsports Christmas. Ryan Blaney wins the Coke 600, breaks his 59 race winless streak, and this week is exactly why we are here for the speed. What is up, guys? My name is DJ, and I am here with the Here for the Speed podcast. We have had a long weekend. We have been watching racing for 2 days straight. Actually, well, longer if you count the Xfinity. Well, what little bit of the Xfinity we've seen so
I think,
far.
I think we watched more rain coverage than we have racing.
Exactly. So, as I've said, my name is DJ. What's up, guys? I'm joined by...
My name's Jacob. Next to me,
Jeff O. What's up?
And Nate.
we are missing
Wow.
Matt. Matt's got to get up to work early tomorrow, and with all the racing and everything, got things to take care of.
Oh,
So we got
yeah.
Nate and Jeff.
Yeah, it was definitely a long weekend. It was good, though. Man, was there some good racing this
It
week.
ain't over yet.
No,
Yep.
we
We're
still got...
about, we're about 15 minutes away from the Xfinity race.
Yeah.
The rest of the Xfinity race.
Yeah, the remainder. Man, I feel bad for some of those guys pulling double duty in
Oh,
the
gosh.
NASCAR race versus and running the Xfinity.
Right?
Bro, they're gonna be just gassed after this.
Yeah.
Absolutely trashed. But yeah, good race. So let's talk about this weekend. So we started off. Do we want to go all the way back to the truck race? I didn't really think
Yeah,
about it, but I
yeah,
guess
we
that's
can start
technically
off.
part of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, so that was a pretty decent start. I mean, gosh, so long ago. I can't remember who
I
won
know.
the race.
Oh my gosh.
I'm about to pull up a lineup. I mean, I mean that was a good race. You know, it didn't
It
set
was.
the world on fire, but it was a pretty good race. A lot of track wear, even tire wear. The ARCA race was super fun because, dude, they had zero grip, literally
No.
driving sideways the entire
Honestly,
time.
I was really pulling for Frankie, but
I
was
think
looking
they had
good.
like a motor or something. They
Something.
didn't have a lot of performance in the motor because he just seemed like he just couldn't keep up with those guys, and looked like they kept opening the hood or something. It's hard to tell.
looks like Ben Rhodes.
Yep.
Ben Rhodes.
Yep, won the race. According to Google, it says they're still running it. I think that's wrong.
Okay, so it's not gonna be able to pull up a lineup.
Can confirm the NASCAR app, in fact, says it's done. So,
Just in case we were wondering.
just in case everyone was concerned.
Yeah, I was a little worried. So moving on from the truck race was good. What did we think of the Formula One race? Because we actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
So we definitely have our pretty much right after reaction on YouTube. We
Right.
we did a reaction to the end of the race, the last like 15 laps.
It was
and then
about 40
we
minutes
did like
total.
a review.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to kind of mirror what we said, I mean, the racing was the best it's been in a while. It was pretty typical Monaco, but the rain definitely
Oh,
added a twist there.
That changed everything.
Yeah. So I mean, not really. I mean,
Well, no,
Verstappen still led the
well.
entire race.
Dude, again, it was like watching Larson or something race out there. It was
Yeah.
just he was gone.
It came down to typical Monaco, where it was pretty much decided on Saturday when they ran to qualifying, and whoever gets the pole at Monaco pretty much wins the race. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like, at least throughout the race, there were some of the drivers making some more gusto type moves, really trying to make passes in places where you can't really pass at Monaco. I mean, if you're very familiar with the track, you'll know there's only like 2 zones that you can pass
Yeah,
in,
it's
really.
not much.
So, I mean, the fact that you have those like little chicanes and really tight like button hook type turns that people
Yeah.
are trying to shove their car into. And I mean, those cars are, I mean, if you follow F1 for any period of time, you know they just keep getting bigger.
They were huge
So, I
compared to
mean,
what they used to be. Like
the-
just a few years ago.
Yeah, and so they were trying. I thought it was a really good race. I thought it was one of the better Monaco races in the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah, it was exciting, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a good race. It was amazing to see once that rain hit how slow they became on those slicks.
oh yeah,
Right.
it was crazy.
It
They
wasn't-
couldn't even drive.
No, it was like completely undrivable. Like I mean, it was surprising how bad it was. Like because I figure like with NASCAR, like you know, like I mean, we saw kind of today in the beginning of the Xfinity race, like it was misting and they were still holding on. I mean, you barely even noticed that it was misting out there. But apparently, man, like just with the way of the power and how light those cars are, I think that's probably why it was such a problem. Is
Right.
you know these cars, NASCAR's cars are heavier, so I think that's
Yeah.
probably what the issue is. But man, overall, yeah, that rain came and totally spiced up that whole race. I thought it was good though.
I think, I mean, kind of what so the rain was great and it was really exciting because the total dynamic changed.
What's up, Kuzma?
But then
Sorry.
the racing groove, because the rain quit, became extremely narrow.
Yeah,
Because if you got outside of that at all and got into that wet,
it was over.
you like if you were in a straight, you could kind of get your tires out there and kind of cool the tires down. But in the corner, you had to stay right in the groove. So once the rain stopped and it got down to that single groove, I mean, passing was pretty much done.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a lock. About 8 laps to go, you're like
I mean, the problem was, man, like we said, Verstappen got out in the front and then
like
it
a
just,
20 something
oh,
second lead,
gosh,
something
it was,
stupid.
It was insane. I mean, well, hold on. Did he wreck or spin or something? Hit
Bro,
the wall?
he spun and touched the wall. He wrecked.
Yeah,
And still won.
and still run and didn't lose the lead.
That's how far ahead he was.
Yeah, it's not like he wrecked and then came back through the field or anything like that. He just didn't lose the lead. He just had that much of a lead
That's
in the
what's
first
wild.
place.
That's what's
that
wild
he was
to
able
me.
to recover from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
crazy.
That was pretty wild. So that one was good. Then we went from that, like literally like an hour later was the
Yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
an hour.
Indy 500.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Um,
almost like right into the opening ceremonies. At
Well,
least.
opening ceremony started an hour before Formula One even started.
Yeah,
Technically, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, so I mean that was wild. But man, talk about a race going down to the end there.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was an exciting race.
That was there was. We'll talk a little bit later about some of the things that happened during the race, specifically the issue with like the flags and you know the
Right.
red flags and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, we are at Indy. There's a tire going into the stand or near the stands.
That was
taking
scary.
out a car. That was honestly one of the more terrifying moments I've watched in racing.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like the Newman wreck, and then there's like that tire going out. That to me, those are like the two that I'm like,
Oh
man.
yeah, because I mean that could have been horrible.
Oh, that would have. I don't know that it would have necessarily killed somebody, but you're
Dude,
not.
I don't know. That
I
car
mean-
was messed up, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That thing was wild, and so yeah,
I think the Indy 500 played out exactly kind of what we thought. First 100 laps, you're going to see a lot of fuel saving, a lot of
strategy.
riding almost. And then, you know, as it would get more aggressive with 100 laps to go and then 50 laps to go, you'd see it turned up even more. And then once you get on the last pit stop, you know, then it's all out,
yeah,
you know. So.
Yeah, I definitely just appreciated that that whole last 5 laps. It was probably some of the most intense racing of the entire
Oh,
weekend.
dude.
I mean, we were all on our feet like just
that it came
on the edge
down
of our
Edge of your
Oh my
seat,
God.
just nail biter.
honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
it came down to obviously it was what, a lap and a half, or basically.
One,
that-
yeah.
I mean,
Because the way
basic-
they kind of restart in
Yeah.
the middle of three.
Yeah,
So, I
Erickson was gaining, and it's just like just didn't quite have
couldn't
enough.
quite do it. I think maybe if he had another lap, he might have been able to back up and then kind of catch back up to him. But man, Erickson almost had it. But super cool, to see. Gosh, I can't remember the guy's name now.
Newgarden.
Newgarden, yeah.
Joseph Newgarden.
That
Super-
was his 14th attempt to get his first Indy 500.
super cool
Super
to
cool.
see him win. And then obviously,
also Team Penske.
I was gonna say Team Penske playing into the what happened today at the NASCAR race. Ryan Blaney winning.
Yeah, weekend
Super
sweep
cool.
for Roger Penske.
That's freaking
Gotta
crazy.
love that.
That's the. They said it's the first. He's obviously won both events at one time or another. It's the first
this
time
was his,
in
I
one
think,
year.
19th Indy 500.
Oh, jeez.
Roger
Yeah, but-
Penske has a few
Dang.
wins at the Brickyard. No wonder he bought it. Basically, already owned the
like
place.
this. So yeah, I mean, like that race, man. Like I can't think of a time where we have seen the Indy 500 and how much it oh geez, what am I trying to say? On the last lap, how much I mean, I thought they were going to come down pit road.
Oh,
On the
that
end-
was
Oh, how
crazy.
much they were
They were
sweeping,
trying to
sweeping to
break
try
the
to break
draft.
up the draft.
Yeah.
man,
That
that
was
was
wild.
crazy.
Oh my god!
I mean, the freaking cojones you got to have to know. Because, like, what happens if Erickson gets on his side and he can't avoid pit lane? I mean,
you go down pit road at speed. I mean,
I
what do you
wouldn't
do?
be surprised because, as you said, we've seen it get more and more aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't eventually put a line there. You cannot go
Cross this.
beyond
Yeah.
this line, almost like a yellow line
Commitment
rule
line
at super
kinda thing.
speedways. Yeah,
Yeah, I
if
was
you're,
gonna say.
if you're not coming to pit road, you cannot cross this line.
Maybe.
Yeah, that is very illegal in NASCAR. I was like, my biggest concern is, at least from the angles that we were able to see that from, you could have almost sworn that someone was just gonna run right into the
I swear
barrier.
They're about to hit pit road at 210
Dude,
yeah.
miles an hour.
Well,
But
like
not just
watching it, I swear I don't. Maybe I remember this wrong. I swear they went out of view of the camera because they
They did.
swerved over so far. And it's
Yeah.
like, bro, you're doing 210 miles an hour. Are you gonna try to make a pit stop? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Nate, you have no idea.
I have no idea. I didn't watch those
We'll
races.
show you the video later. It's
Yeah,
insane.
we'll show you, bro.
Sounds
it's
crazy,
freaking
though.
crazy.
Oh no, you don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that race was
gosh.
like Jeff said, that might have been the most intense part of the entire weekend.
So I'll say, all in all, well, let's talk about Coke 600.
Okay,
first.
so Coke 600, long race,
Coke
not
600,
yep,
Yep.
that's Coke Zero.
whatever.
You got to try it first.
It's a
though.
red can. Come on. All
You got to
It's
try it.
Coca Cola, bro.
Yeah, it's close enough.
right, Daytona, Coke Zero 400.
Yeah,
All right.
there we go. So the Coke 600, a lot of things happened in that race. I don't think we're going to be able to hit all of the different things.
No,
that happened
I don't
in
think
there.
we remember it all.
Even
16
NASCAR's
cautions. I mean, there's
Even
no way we'll
NASCAR's
remember it all.
highlight reel was like
They're
3
like
minutes
race
long.
recap.
The
I'm like, oh,
highlight-
you only captured
I'm
half the race
I'm
recap.
scrolling. I'm scrolling through the recap, and I'm only at lap 275, and I'm still scrolling.
Yeah.
Like, just so many different things that happened in there. But hey, Ryan Blaney, hats off to him for getting his first win in what, like was that 59 races?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a year and a half or so.
Dude, he had a dominate. I wouldn't say, well, okay, we got to be careful on how we say domination because we had a whole argument about it before. But that was pretty close. Like, he had a super strong car
No, he
all
was
day.
super good. It was interesting. Once the sun came out, all of a sudden Penske came alive. Fords came alive. But he stayed alive. Even when the sun started going back down, the cloud coverage came back. He
Yeah.
stayed fast, super fast. So they obviously, when the sun came out and the track got hot, they nailed the setup, and they just stayed on top of it better than anybody else the rest of the race.
Yeah.
Although, dude, Byron's pit crew,
Dude,
bro, y'all nasty.
Oh,
what
yeah.
the heck?
Man, they-
9 seconds flat and then sub 9.
Sub nines,
There was
this-
consistent sub nines.
There was this really cool shot when he took off of pit road. One of the, I think it was in the last stage. He just takes off, and you see the camera, and one of his crew guys are just pointing like, "Yup, yup."
Like, they already
yup."
know, bro.
Like, they already know they're the
Nate
bomb.
and I were looking at each other. I'm like, okay, that's kind of hard.
Yeah,
that was kind of hard.
That was awesome.
They know what they did.
yeah.
They know
Yeah.
what they did.
Keep it moving.
You know what I liked about this race, and we saw this last year. The whole, like, the World 600 is what it used to be called, right? The World 600. It was an attrition race, part failures. It was all about surviving, having
More
a
like an
car that would
endurance race.
make the distance was the key. So this almost was kind of a callback to that. Not so much, like part malfunctions, except for Legacy Motorsports, whatever was going on there.
Oh boy.
But not crashing.
Disintegration.
And if you did spin out, keeping it off the wall, not damaging your stuff, staying on top of the track position, staying on top of the setups, keeping it clean on pit road. Like, this was a true race of attrition in
Yeah.
the modern day era. And I do kind of, petition for some shorter races, but don't touch this race. Don't touch the
Yeah.
package. Don't touch
Yeah.
the tire. Don't touch anything. This is
having-
literally perfection.
I think having at least one, endurance race, quote unquote, at least for our sport, I think that's fine. I don't think necessarily all races need to be.
I agree.
5.5 hours or 6 hours, however long it is.
There's something magical with the way Charlotte Motor Speedway is right now. The banking,
Yeah.
the tire wear, the car, just everything is perfect.
This
just
car-
don't change it, don't touch it.
This
just
car, see, this is where this
fix
is.
everything else except for Charlotte.
I was gonna say this is where this car really shines, right? Like tracks like Charlotte.
Yes,
This is,
Kansas.
Things like all the intermediates. The car right now does really good. It's obviously short tracks, super speedways, road courses to an extent, but I think they're getting there.
So I would have to say, man, this was probably as a rookie, just going through all the races for the first time this year.
Yeah, you still haven't even made it back. So
yeah.
Daytona, once we watch that race, that'll be you have now watched a full
Yep.
year of watching.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So for me, man, this race was absolutely exciting, man. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
I loved it. Like it was probably my favorite race so far this
Yeah.
year. That and I would have to say Coda was probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
Coda
not gonna lie.
was
I love
entertaining for
Coda.
sure.
Yeah.
Like we said, that's because of the turn one.
So it'd
But-
be super interesting. So I'm on the bandwagon. I think you are too. Get rid of the Roval. I want two of these.
You know what's funny is
But I think Nate will be on the board of once he sees the Roval. I know you've watched the Roval,
Yeah, I watched
so
it.
I feel like he'll probably.
see.
be
Here's
on
my
board
problem with
the
that
Roval.
whole thing is I like the Roval, the idea of the Roval. I think it's super cool to have like a road course speedway hybrid. Like I think that's cool to kind of just it's another type of track that we would get to run on. So I think
my
that's
problem
super
is
cool.
last year wasn't that great of a race.
That's the problem.
But if they
and
can keep
especially
working on
being-
this package, maybe
and
that
see that's
changes.
the problem is like the problem is Charlotte's race, like the intermediate, like what we just watched there, it's fire. So the problem is we're going and doing a road course and it's like, it's all right. But then we're giving up another Charlotte race.
So the Roval was created because 2 Charlotte races was boring, and Charlotte was super lackluster in the Gen 6. So they said, okay, because attendance for the 600 would be great because it's a marquee event. It's it's this prestigious event. The 400 in the fall saw horrible attendance and horrible ratings. So they swapped it to the Roval to do something new. But we've seen interest and attendance in that slowly starting to dwindle. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe 3-4 years from now we don't see it flip back.
it's possible.
I mean, even with this package, like if the racing's anything like it is today, I'd like to see some kind of 400-mile race at Charlotte. That would be really cool. I
Back
mean,
to the Bank of America 400.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Lindsay literally
Nostalgic.
just texted me. She goes, she didn't know Roval was a road oval combination of words.
Are you serious? How many years we've been running the Roval?
Oh my god,
That's hilarious.
that's funny.
Just had an epiphany
Did you know, Nate?
moment.
I didn't know either. So I'm on the same
There's a
bandwagon.
little grace here though.
I'm like, okay. Oh, that's pretty
That's
cool.
why
I'm
we-
with my
how
head
could
on.
nobody know that?
Oh, I get
So
it.
something. So we were joking
Mine is
around,
okay.
just so you know, when the that's why we called Daytona Oval the Doval.
The Doval.
Because it was the Daytona Oval track. Like
wow.
so we called it the Doval when we went to go see it that one time.
The
Yeah,
Doval,
it
dude.
didn't catch on.
No, it didn't.
Nah.
The hashtag did not pick up. So, yeah. So I mean, like a really good race. Really, I mean, man, this had everything you want. There was drama off pit road, on
Drama
pit
during the
road,
red
during
flag.
the red flag, during the race, during the pit, during oh geez, what are we like during pit road? Green flag stops during yellow flag stops. I mean, just
Yeah.
this race had everything. Now, granted, it was 6 hours long, but again, this race was supposed to also happen yesterday.
I mean, the only thing this
So-
race didn't have was a green, white, checkered finish, but the race was so great, didn't need it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
for
good
sure.
straight up 20 lap shootout for the end,
Yeah.
and Ryan Blaney kicked their butt.
Yeah, and
So-
and something that I want to mention is, of course, Happy Memorial Day, to
Absolutely.
everyone that
Absolutely,
has
yep.
served, and I think it's great that they did that lap 200 thing where they park all the cars,
Yeah.
and I think that's phenomenal.
Did you notice throughout the broadcast they were doing like 4 or 5, 3, 4 drivers at a time, like recognizing who was on
Yeah.
the hood and little shorts? Like, okay,
That's great,
you're
man.
gonna stop some green flag coverage for that? I'm so down.
Yeah.
I'm about
Yeah.
it.
I agree.
But some of the other stuff they do.
Oh, apparently the race just went to caution.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry. No, that's the Xfinity race.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I've got the list pulled up, and it's like the banner at the top, and it just like flashed caution. I'm like,
Yeah. So
How is that happening?
You're gonna get a little bit of a live reaction as we watch the resumption of the Xfinity race.
right? Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
what a day.
So do we want to
Do a top
rate
10.
the 3?
Do we want to rate?
best-
oh yeah,
best race of the
Let's
weekend?
do rate all three. So Nate, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're out of this. So
That's all right.
I mean,
would've said-
you can throw your 2 cents
I would
in
have
if
said
you
the
want.
Coke 600 anyway.
Okay. Who do we want to go first? Does anyone want to go first?
go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff?
Sure.
From least to your favorite.
Least to my favorite. Oh, man. I mean, the least is going to be the Monaco. It was still a great race, considering it's F1. I don't follow F1 like that, but compared to the other Monaco races that I've watched throughout the last couple of years, because that is typically the one race or 2 races I watch every year,
Yeah.
it was good for F1, but I don't think compared to the other 2, it really stood up to those. Man, that the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, that's a toss up. I mean, I'm gonna say just because of the finish and the drama leading up to it and how entertaining it was the entire time, I'm gonna go the Coke 600 next, and then I think my favorite would be the 500. That personally, but I mean, it could have easily been swapped up, but
Okay.
yeah, just because of the way it finished, I'm gonna say the Indy 500 is my favorite.
All right, I'll go. I'm going to do the same thing. Number 3 will be Monaco. I think as far as Monaco has not always been known as like the best race when it comes to Formula One. That was always, it's the spectacle, right? Of Monaco. So, but I mean, as far as a Monaco race goes, I thought that was an extremely good Monaco race. So super cool there. I'm going to,
You see my problem?
yes, I know. I am going to flip it though. And I'm going to say Indy second, Coke 600 first. And the only reason is because Indy, the first half was a fuel mileage game. It's not quite as exciting. Whereas the
Okay.
Coke 600 had pretty much was nuts from the start, especially with all the rain coming in, coming out, then people fighting on after they got out of their cars and stuff. Well,
In the middle of the
in
race.
the technically in the middle of the race. So that's where I'll go. I'll go with the 600. So, but yeah, it's a tough one. All right, Jake, your turn.
Yeah, so I'm the same as you. So Monaco's got to be third. Not to knock it, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
The broadcast was fantastic. The shots of that track are
Can we
fantastic.
can we just talk about like give those announcers props?
Yeah,
Their
incredible.
announcers, I think,
They're
are
incredible.
the best. I think
Yeah,
they're
hands
probably better than all the other races by
Yeah.
far.
So Monaco third, great race, definitely better than what it has been. So that's good. And then Indy 500, I thought was the best in the last couple of years. Super competitive. I mean, you just didn't know who was going to win that race. I thought it was great. The finish was great. Multiple attempts to try to get the race to finish under green and give the best finish they can.
Yeah.
I personally thought that was great. I know a lot of people on social media really did not. And then number one, same, Coke 600. I mean, it was just, I kind of got the same feeling I did last year where it was 5.5 hours long, and it could have gone on for another 100 laps.
And yeah,
I was loving it. I was literally, it was
Right.
great. I didn't
I don't
want it
know.
to end.
My heart rate wasn't loving it. All my drivers wrecked.
The reason why I picked the 600
The
over
curse
the
of
500,
DJ continues.
the reason why I pick it over is because as we watched, like we got super excited and into the end of the 500, but we got super into it and we're excited for the 600 multiple
Multiple times.
Right.
times.
Scared my kid at one point.
Yeah, that was like 100 laps ago.
Yeah. No, I think it was way before that. All of a sudden something happened. Oh, I think it was the Elliott Hamlin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was then. And literally everyone, just starts doing that. And my kid was like half asleep and it's just like all of a sudden just starts crying. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, I think the reason why my perspective is the way it is on the Indy 500 was because I had the opportunity. It's one of the few races a year that I get to watch where I don't have a dog in the fight, whether it's like my own personal like fanship of a driver or our fantasy league stuff.
Yeah.
I was just able to objectively watch it.
Yes,
and that
that's
made
true.
it really fun for me personally because I mean, you're just appreciating the racing and everything that's going on as like an individual thing that you are kind of outside of instead of like being involved in it. So, but man, it was a toss up. I could have picked either one. They were so good. This whole weekend has just been great.
Yeah.
Can we vote on who had the best paint scheme in the 600? It's not a show sheet. Do we want to pick who we
that
thought
would
had
be
the best
kinda-
one?
Okay.
Since we can't rate a burnout this week.
Fair enough. All right, Nate, let's go with you. You haven't said much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
He's gonna
Bad
take,
Brad.
He took everyone's.
I'm sorry, man.
Sorry,
His-
Matt, what'd you say?
Yeah, I know. Hey,
sitting
listen,
in
I'm
Matt's
representing.
spot.
I know.
I'm representing for Matt on this one, man. That paint scheme was absolutely fire, bro. Yeah, I mean, you got the red, white, and blue. I mean, shout out to all the drivers, having
The gold number.
Yeah, that gold 6, bro, with that red, white, and blue looked beautiful.
Super low key too. He had it was kind of hidden. 6 stars on the roof, 17 on each side.
So
6
fire.
and 17. I was like, hey,
That's
y'all did that
fire.
on purpose. I'll tag
this
on
out.
with you. I'm taking the 17. That paint scheme, the OD green
RFK
with
in
like the
general.
hex pattern.
RFK did it this week,
Oh,
bro.
bro, hands down.
They brought it.
Yeah.
I'll jump in for Kuzman. Kuzman says Bell.
Bell had a good one.
Lindsay says Bubba.
Oh, because she likes pink.
Oh boy. What about you, DJ?
Oh gosh, I was gonna say literally Brad, and then I was gonna say Busher. So I'm gonna go, and I know it's a safe one, Suarez. That one hits every
Classic.
time. I know
The
he's-
only reason why I want is just because it's not new. It's the same
it
thing
is,
we've
but
seen for 2 years.
it looks great though. So
Yeah.
if not him, I could say Amarola. Amarola's was really good.
Stuart Haas did
Stuart
great
Haas
this
in
year. too.
general.
Chris,
And
Larson's.
Larson's-
Chase Briscoe's was great too.
Larson's looked good too. So I mean, I
We've
don't know.
kind of seen like the Hendrick stuff. You see it,
Similar.
and you kind of expect it. I feel
Yeah.
like 5 years ago, especially when Dale Jr. was around, like they had some awesome patriotic schemes, and it just I don't know. That's kind of they've gotten pretty predictable and in a box that you expect.
Yeah. All right.
Man, obviously the ones we've mentioned so far are really good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mentioned like 4.
think- yeah,
Sorry.
I think the best one. This guy, then this guy, then this guy.
I mean,
My bad.
for me, I actually did really like Blaney's. I like that lime green camo. That was pretty sweet.
did look pretty
and
cool.
then
Almost like
I
a,
also,
like a tiger stripe kind
yeah,
of vibe.
Yeah.
But then I did really like Bell's. I like that like desert kind of like digi camo thing with
Yeah.
the red number. That was pretty hot. So I kind of like that. That was pretty good.
Jake, did you?
Yeah, he said his.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
you did.
said
Yeah, that's
RFK.
right. Okay, sorry, I lost order.
As RFK said, the Fastenal tank.
Dude. Okay, I still want to.
Fast
Can
enough
we?
submarine.
Okay, sorry, we're gonna get off on a little bit of a tangent. Did you all see Brad announce he's about to run for president?
Bro,
Like
it's all over our reaction of the Indy 500.
Yeah.
that was so
We
weird.
like jumped in 5 minutes into this thing. We're like, what the heck? This sounds like he's about to run for president.
He's talking about the wage war with the Navy or something.
It's like we're gonna go, we're gonna build submarines and da da da. We're like, what the heck?
we are gonna make the Navy great again, or something like.
We were
Jeez.
like, geez, bro.
I know. All right, so let's.
I'm
do
waiting
it.
for the new sign to make RFK great again.
Right. All right. So we're gonna do top 10 rundown. Obviously, Ryan Blaney getting first. That we kind of talked about. Number 2, William Byron. He was strong all day.
Yeah.
I think he had a really good car. I definitely don't think he was as consistent as Blaney was, but I mean overall, pretty good car.
Yeah, he lost some track position, but then fought back and got it.
Yeah. Number 3, Ryan Truex. That one kind of a
Kind
little
of
bit of a
same
surprise.
same vein. I mean, just up there.
Yeah.
To me, it wasn't that much of a surprise because
Really?
he's been fast the last couple weeks.
I guess he has. Yeah.
Yeah, Marty
You know?
Truex has been making
Maybe
a little
maybe
bit of
not
a
maybe
comeback
not
this
race
year.
winning fast, but top 5 fast.
But yeah, at least up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's been staying in the fight for sure.
for sure. Number 4, Bubba Wallace.
this surprised me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I guess fighting Amarola kind of got him fired
Got
up.
fired up.
Well, I
And,
wouldn't say fighting Amarola.
No.
He took a couple
He
shoves.
got
He
shoved.
took
Yeah,
a
he took
shove.
a shove.
More like
Yeah.
shove.
more like talking smack and then got pushed.
Yeah. And then Tyler Reddick getting fifth. Man, dude, I thought he was going to be able to beat Blaney.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That last pit stop,
Sorry, that was
man. They
another
just
paint
missed
scheme.
it.
That was another paint scheme we could talk
Oh
about.
yeah,
bro.
that Jordan
I don't,
was
I don't get it, bro. I never.
It's Tar Heel.
I
Tar Heel
totally
Blue.
didn't get it.
Tar Heel Blue, man.
So Tar
I
Heel.
still don't get it,
All right,
bro. I don't watch basketball. I don't know anything about
Me
Okay,
Jordans,
okay.
bro.
But I know about that
So
scheme.
Michael
It's good.
Jordan went to
North
the Tar Heels,
Carolina.
North Carolina. So their color, that's their color. So that's probably why, is because it's a Jordan car, and Jordan went to that school.
It's also
Yeah, but it
a,
wasn't patriotic.
it's also
No,
a
it's not.
colorway.
But it was still looked cool.
I mean, whatever. I mean, that was one of the coolest cars, I will say, because there was no lettering. It was literally just three
Simple.
Air Jordan
Clean.
logos
clean.
You didn't need any lettering.
and a monster symbol in the back.
Just a random one. So
Yeah.
Tyler Reddick getting fifth, Kyle Busch getting sixth.
Yeah.
He had a pretty solid day, nothing dominant, but definitely made the most of what he had. Ricky Stenhouse getting seventh. Which
That
I
was
thought
good. Good
that
day
was-
for them.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
solid. Same thing we talk about attrition, man. He just kept it clean all day and got a good result out of it.
Yeah. Next down in eighth, Chris Buescher. He was like, there were points in the race where he was flying.
Like he could have
Yeah.
been the guy to beat.
yeah.
And just
Just not consistent enough today, I think was his
Yeah,
downfall.
he
Hey,
had
but-
some
hey.
he had some Days of Thunder moments where he just like throw it into the whatever the next gear is and just go around like four
Tried
or
to-
five people.
Yeah. And then Austin Dillon in ninth. Definitely a good showing by him.
I told Nate. Nate was like, "Man, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about my pit." I'm like, "Trust, bro. He's somehow, bro, in these attrition races, all of a sudden, here comes Austin Dillon in the
Always.
top 10.
Austin
Always.
survives.
Yeah,
he is a survivor for
No,
sure.
no, Nate
Lindsay's
he's like,
stoked
"Is
about
that
that one."
Austin Dillon in there?"
I'm like, yeah.
Lindsay's over there pumped about
And
it.
then this one, I think, is probably the biggest surprise. 10th place, Zane Smith.
That was
man.
super
I
surprising.
kept mentioning him the whole race. I'm like, what is he doing up there? I'm like, does anybody have eyes on
I
this
mean,
guy?
I don't know how many cars ended up wrecking out. I'm just trying to look down here.
Missed opportunities. Since we're done with top 10, missed
Yeah.
opportunities. One, Kyle Larson spun out by himself.
Yep.
That wasn't good.
Yep.
Collected Ty Gibbs, which was super unfortunate because he was on a heater running. Never ran Charlotte before. No practice, no qualifying. Longest race of his career, running top 6, top 5.
Yeah.
Yep. He started off very strong.
Yeah, so great day for him. Any other unfortunates that were running good got taken out?
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick was having a good day.
I feel like they kind of just lost it on the setup because they were good and then just kind of got marred back and then just he
I
fought
think-
back to like
I think it was
What-
Stenhouse that
Bell.
kind of hit his.
Bell.
Was it Bell?
oh
No,
yeah
Bell.
Yeah, he got
came-
bumped into
he
the
went,
turf.
He went up to the
Reddick
front. No, Bell. He went up to the front, went back because of something.
no, I
Then
see what
came
you're
back,
saying.
and then
Yeah.
went back, and then came back. It was like 2 or 3 times. And then he got taken
Dude,
out.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Harvick hit
Yeah.
Air Jordan over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
Oh, what about Chastain, man?
He just
Just
Man,
he
in
wasn't there the whole time.
In general, Trackhouse just was not there today.
He cracked the top 10 like once or twice, very briefly, and then just couldn't make his way back. And then Suarez like started way towards the back. I think on the list he was, I don't remember what specific spot, but he was 20 something, and then first 50 laps or so before like the little rain delay or whatever, he like drove up to the front and then just lost it and never ever really got it back. So.
Yeah. So all right, so let's move on to some other topics about this race. So what happened to Legacy Motor Club?
Man, so
I don't wanna
I guess
talk
I
about
heard, yeah, Jimmy Johnson, man. I don't knock him for like spinning out. Honestly, kind of expected it with no practice, no
practice.
nothing on an oval like this. Super tough, man. These cars are super hard to drive. Man, I wish they would have got practice. Jimmy might have had something for him, not for like a win, but at least a good run.
At least something.
But I mean, we know they're not getting any Chevy information anymore now that they've announced they're going to Toyota. That's over. They might get some, but you ain't getting a secret sauce. You know? So, and no other team, Hendrick or whoever, nobody wants to work with them now. That's for sure. So, there's that. And then I guess Noah Gregson and
Brad.
Eric
Brad.
Jones.
Well,
Jones.
Brad got into. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Gilliland.
Uh,
Sorry. Long day.
Gregson
thing.
and Jones had both, I guess, hit a piece of debris. And
That's
did
what-
something to the radiator.
That's what the story
Bruh,
is. Yes.
Sus. I don't know about that. That's too convenient.
We
all
all hit
within
the
a couple
same-
laps.
We all hit the same debris.
What debris?
Yeah, right.
And the thing is, you're telling me that your two cars are the only cars that hit it, and you both hit it on the same lap. Wait a minute.
Well,
what?
I guess maybe we'll get
Did
some
you
more
share the
information on it,
debris?
but
Like, were you sharing the debris with each other?
I
I'm
don't
so
know about
confused.
that one.
Yeah, that was a little weird. But man, I feel bad for them because, especially for like Noah, man, he went from absolutely dominating in the Xfinity series to now he's just like barely hanging on. He's getting beat by Rick Ware cars at this point. I mean, like, maybe he's not getting beat, but it feels like it at least. And I
Getting beat by Ross Chastain.
how long you been waiting for that one?
Wait, the second you said beat, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fit it in there
It's
somewhere.
gonna be perfect. So I don't know what happened with them. Definitely a disappointing day. I think it was Jake. You said something about a stat where it was like Jimmy is in every race he's competed in, he's DNF'd.
This year he's run 3 races. He's DNF'd in all 3. Average finish of 34th.
He needs to hang it up.
Stop.
I know.
I know I'm the newbie and everything, and there's probably a bunch of Jimmy fans out there. But from what I've seen, I mean, you said it all, bro. DNF. Just hang
Well,
it
I
up,
mean,
dude.
okay.
Take
Where-
your great career. What
What
was
was
it?
the other race he
Seven
did?
Seven
championships.
championships, and bro, just retire, bro.
It wasn't
Bro,
just
he loves
run
to,
the team
he
and
loves
that's
to
it.
race.
Watch your dirty lips.
bro. It's not
What?
even. It's
he,
not
he
even.
ran the 500. He ran this one. What was the other race? I
I
can't.
thought
Coda.
we said it was Coda, yeah.
It is Coda.
What
Yeah.
happened to Coda? I can't remember.
It was like
I
lap
remember.
1 on the backs. It was no. I'm serious. It was like the first lap.
You're not helping my case here.
No, it was
Because like the
early.
Daytona
Get him out
5,
of here. Get him out.
the Daytona 500. That's it's super speedway. You could
He made
just
it to
run
the end.
because he ran good and just got wrecked out. He didn't wreck. He got wrecked. He didn't wreck. He got wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Let's see. Let's see if he, whenever he runs again.
What's his next one?
What he brings.
Auto Week. I just pulled up because I was trying to look it up. Auto Week. Why Jimmy Johnson failed to complete a lap in NASCAR's race at Coda.
Oh, boy.
He didn't complete a lap.
That's bad. Hang it
Oh
up.
my God, man. They were roasting him. Johnson's dismal qualifying effort of 31st in the 39 car field left him at the rear where accidents often
Look, man,
happen
he's
early
a
in the
rookie.
race.
This new guy, Jimmy Johnson, part-time ride. He'll get it.
I think
man.
to answer your question, I think the next race he's in is Chicago Street Course, right?
Oh God.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, because that's not going to be a complete shift show.
Good luck, bro. Good luck, Jimmy.
Hey,
By
look,
the way, we got those shirts on our merch store for the shift show.
look, I mean, as a lifelong Jimmy fan, the first, I think I mentioned it on a podcast at one point. But when I first got into NASCAR, my mom and dad were Gordon fans, and I naturally became a Jimmy fan in his
Right.
rookie season. And so, seeing the decline is really breaking my heart.
I know.
I'm like,
Man.
oh.
Yeah.
Who was it? Matt said it the other day. We were at Jimmy Johnson's last win when he wrecked the entire field of the Daytona Clash.
Oh, boy.
And he won because the race, it started pouring rain and they called the rain.
What a way to win.
We were there.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy,
It was like the first class he had finished in 8 years because he always wrecked out.
as Lindsay
horrible.
calls him,
So,
Jimmy
Nate,
Johnson.
just to give you an idea of how Tom Brady this guy is, okay? He has the 7 championships, but 5 of them were consecutive. 5 years
row.
in
That's
a
insane.
row.
And
Yeah.
they kept changing the format to try to get him to stop winning. And he just kept winning.
Okay, so my thing is like this, right? Be like Tom Brady, bro.
Go out,
Take your
bro.
championship and go home, dude. Don't stay, man.
How'd that work out for Brady? Not too good.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, the guy loves the race, man. I mean,
I get it, but it's just like he's tarnishing his own
he
name. now.
needs a. I don't think picking very technical tracks is right. I mean, but this is a bad deal. But if he gets 20
honest,
if he
thi-
gets 20 minutes of practice, that's almost 40 laps.
but I think
That could
also
be a completely different scenario.
I think some
'Cause
of the
he doesn't
problem
even know
is-
what a car on an oval feels like.
not the new car.
No, and this is totally different. So he got a fair amount of laps today. So hopefully, when
And
he
I
does
think
another one.
I will say, in his defense, we know, especially now that they're moving to a Toyota team, that Chevy's not helping them. So I would be very interested to see how next year, if he does do the same kind of thing where he runs a couple races, that'll be the test of whether or not he's like still got some talent there.
So from what I
left in the
understand,
tank.
he's got 6 races this year. So
He's done 3.
Chicago would make 4. I wonder what else he would pick. I doubt he
Maybe
would pick another
the
super
400?
speedway.
400 maybe?
I doubt it.
Atlanta?
I think I only see him risking a super speedway for the 500.
Yeah, probably.
Look,
Because
man,
the trophy,
probably
the
rode-
prestige on that is massive.
Sonoma maybe, because he wasn't always
Maybe
really
a
good at
Watkins
Sonoma.
Glen, Sonoma, maybe
Yeah.
road courses. Yeah, maybe.
Look, man, all I know is that now that I know that they're switching to Toyota after Jimmy being with Chevrolet his entire career, it's just like, man, he's going to work with the enemy, Joe Gibbs. It's like,
The enemy.
I can't.
For those that
get
are
rid of this.
wondering, especially with YouTube, the Xfinity race just resumed. Well, about to resume. They went down pit road, so I guess they technically did resume, but hopefully a couple laps here will be going green. And there's almost nobody in the
No
grandstands.
fans. Wow.
ain't
Shout
nobody
out to the
staying.
6 people that stayed.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on to our next topic. This one's going to be a bit of a long one, probably. Biggest news probably coming out this week. Elliott and Hamlin get into a wreck.
I think you mean Josh Berry to the 9 car next week.
Yes. I think you are exactly right.
At this point, is Josh Berry playoff eligible? Like if he gets a
should
waiver?
be. I mean, he's run more. I feel like should be as eligible as Byron and Larson.
We didn't make this an about it topic, right?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I think
so-
I think we're at this point where the question is Josh Berry going to be racing at least one race in every Hendrick car this season?
He's already got 2.
yeah, he's got 2 down.
Yeah.
No, I think
So yeah, go into the wreck.
so. I'll be so brief description, right? Hamlin straight up doors Elliott in the fence, no doubt about it.
Yep.
But then Elliott, no doubt about it. We've seen the SMT data from Hamlin that's posted, unless he made it fake, which I doubt it, of course.
It looked pretty real.
So Elliott right hooks Denny Hamlin in the tri-oval. Bad crash.
Yep.
Probably gonna be very high G's. No doubt Hamlin's feeling it. Big wreck. Took them both out. Rule number 1: don't wreck somebody if you're gonna get yourself wrecked. So
Yep.
that's a fail. But I think based off the precedent set last year with Bubba Wallace getting suspended, Chase Elliott absolutely has to be suspended.
Yep.
There's nothing here that should ever that you can't do that, man. You absolutely cannot do that. And I'm here. I got my Hendrick
say-
stuff on.
I was about
Like,
to
I'm
say,
a
this is
Hendrick fan.
coming from a
Hold on.
Chase Elliott fan.
I was gonna say I'm looking around. I actually don't see any of your Chase Elliott stuff, but there's a. Oh yeah, sorry.
You mean that helmet
I said I was looking around.
sitting right on the middle of the
Wait,
table?
hold on, we got to get rid of that. That's contraband at this point.
Yeah. Josh
yeah.
Berry's helmet. Right?
put a blur on it.
Yeah, we'll just blur
No,
this out.
but
It'll be
I
fine.
mean, there's this is uncalled for, man. And I get you're upset, but you cannot right hook a guy. It's totally unacceptable.
Super unsafe. And I would agree, man. I mean, he he used the right verbiage, which
Oh,
I think,
yeah, he
which I
played
think
it
is
right.
important. You know,
Protect your
He
sponsors.
learned from Hamlin's mistake.
Yeah. Well,
Early in the
Chase Elliott
season.
doesn't have a podcast where he's going to go and talk about it.
Yeah.
Either, so I will say, so it's something Lindsay was just showing me was there's a photo, and obviously Brad was right there. So there was kind of some wondering, like, did Brad kind of get into his quarter, the quarter of his car, and that's kind of what turned him. But
The SMT data
SMT
proves that
data
it's
does
not, because
not.
it's a hard left
yeah,
in the SMT data. So if you get clipped on the left, you're not turning left, you're turning right.
yep, you're counter steering.
So there's no doubt.
And he was not a bit remorseful whatsoever
No,
on
and
his
there,
post-race interview.
if it was an accident, like if the toe link was broken, I think you see Chase Elliott come out there apologetic. Like, yeah, he doored me. It's unfortunate that I wrecked him. Sorry about that. But he might come out like, man, I'm really sorry that the wreck was that big. I didn't mean, like, I was broken. Like, but it was, yeah, man, this thing drives like crap when it gets in the wall.
yeah, that was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I thought so. I hope. And man, Hamlin was very, very frank. I honestly thought he was a little tame, considering how pissed he probably
but Denny
was.
Hamlin is that guy. DBC always talks about it.
Yeah.
If you don't say nothing, that means payback is coming. If you run your mouth, that means you're not going to do anything. That's just how it goes. right? And so with Denny Hamlin just kind of saying the facts and laying the facts out.
Yeah.
Something to think about with this is remember with Elliott having missed all the races he has, and he might be in a situation where a cutoff race could easily
So
take him
here's
out.
my opinion. With this, if you get suspended, you're not eligible for the playoffs. You cannot let him be playoff eligible after that. There's no freaking way.
Yeah. I mean, we
As a Hendrick fan, no,
yeah.
bro.
We
You
discussed
can't, because
this.
then what's the penalty? He gets
Yeah.
a week off. He's
Yeah.
already
he
not.
already had weeks off.
He can't point his way in.
Yeah.
So basically, by doing this, all you're saying is you don't have to race at Gateway next week. Take the week off. He's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Yeah, it ain't that bad.
And
I gotta point my way in. I gotta win a race anyways."
yeah, it doesn't change his situation.
No,
But the problem is then at that point, then you're penalizing the team, and it was the driver that messed up.
right.
is what it is.
I get it.
They're
Who
a
gets the
unit.
championship? The team or the driver?
Fair enough. But that's the
Well, I was just gonna interject and say, like, I mean, when we were live reacting to it, I mean, I'm kind of, as much as I hate to do it, I mean, I kind of side with Hamlin on this. I mean, we were discussing it, and you just said straight up, like, that's unacceptable. And what was the first thing out of Denny Hamlin's mouth? He's like, that's completely unacceptable.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
uncalled
it's
for, man.
you can't do that.
especially
And we discussed some of
that
the
way.
yeah, we discussed some of the statistics of it, like the year before Dale Sr. died, you know, at Charlotte and
Hamlin's
the other
Hamlin's
track,
in-car
you know,
looked violent.
there was wrecks the same exact
Yeah,
caliber
there
of that
were similar
that
wrecks
killed
of a-
two drivers.
Yeah. So I
So-
mean, it's just. I mean, the in-car footage of that
Was
of
rough.
Hamlin was scary, man. I don't know, man. It's just not okay. You know, there's just nothing about it that's okay. And I'm on the board. I'm on the vote of I think they should suspend him and he should not be championship eligible. You have to get the message out there.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're comfortable. The cars are safe, but you cannot. You cannot.
I will say
You have to draw a hard line.
yeah, because I mean one thing that really just to me was the big tell was just Hamlin's in car. Like
Scary, man.
That thing. I mean that was kind of, it was worse I feel in a lot
Without
of
a
ways
Hans
than
device, that's probably a fatal crash.
could be.
I mean, and let's just get this out of the way too. I mean, these cars might be safer than last year, but they're
Might
still
not be.
not safe comparatively.
That's what I'm saying too. If this
Like,
was, you can
Alex
even almost
Bowman
say
just
like
got back from an injury that was caused by a wreck.
talking about
you know?
talking about like last year where he's
Yeah.
out. Kurt Busch still out.
Kurt
Still
Busch
out.
You
basically got retired out of that.
He would be. I guarantee you, Kurt Busch would still be racing if he could.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
So he's still out. So I mean, man, it's it's a
Safety
little rough.
first.
And especially at Denny Hamlin's age, being in the sport as long as he has, you know, that could have been essentially a career ender for
Could've.
him. And you know, that's something scary to think about for
Yeah,
sure.
I just think they just have to draw a hard line. This isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our About It, Not About It topic. So if this is the first time you have ever listened or watched, in this case, if you're on YouTube, this is our About It, Not About It topic or section. So we are going to basically give a topic, and we're going to say whether we are about it or not about it. So the first one we have is the IndyCar red flags at the race, obviously at the Indy 500. So there was multiple red flags, I believe. I don't remember the exact number, but there was several. Was it three?
Three.
Yeah.
And just the way that the red flags versus the yellow flags versus like that. How do you think it was handled well? Let's say it that way.
I mean, personally,
I was
can't do-
waiting for you to be done.
You can't do that discreetly. Like
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence this time.
I appreciate it.
Or
I personally
statement.
enjoyed it. I liked it. Obviously being a NASCAR fan, I like that the overtime rules package. I think I remember distinctly. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, when the Indy 500 was really good, really intense, and wreck happened and ended under yellow, and it was very anticlimactic. There was
Yeah.
a big social media outburst about that, about how people are like, "Man, that kind of sucks," you know, whatever. And then you
Yeah,
know,
but then you get the other side too, where like
And then they
the
do-
racing purist, quote unquote,
Right.
is like that's how it's supposed to end.
yeah, but then like you got things like yesterday, and it's like, man, that was a really exciting ending, and we would not have had that if that ended under yellow. And I think it added an intensity to it. It added drama. It even added, a certain level of fear on a lot of the pit crews and the families who were in the pit crew. I mean, they were showing like wives like freaking out that they were going to go back green again. And it's just like that entertainment value drama. Danica Patrick said something in the broadcast where she's like, when they were doing a race overseas and they had to present their passports or their papers, whatever, it was labeled as entertainment. And I'm like, that was entertaining to me, was the fact that they allowed it to end under green. I understand that it wasn't popular with a lot of, like you said, racing purists, but I thought it added a layer to it that, just was the cherry on top for the whole thing for me. So I liked it, but I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea. What about you?
Quick shout out. Hey, Anna, what's up?
Hey.
All right, go ahead.
Me? Okay, yeah. So I'm about it. Now, I've heard a lot of people, especially NASCAR fans, that all kind of tune into the Indy 500. You see a lot of the cross viewership.
Kind of like us.
I don't agree with the overtime. IndyCar does not need overtime. If you can make it work in the 500 miles, make it work. If you got a caution with 1 lap to go, it is what it is. I mean, it's just going to go under yellow. I'm all for that. The Indy 500 is a 500-mile race. NASCAR is, it's advertised as a certain distance, but then they're doing everything they can to give you a green flag finish, even if that means extending the race. And that's NASCAR. That's fine. We don't need IndyCar to be the same thing. It's too freaking dangerous, man. We saw a couple of crashes that were scary.
Right. But
I will say, as somebody watching the race, I am all for them trying to finish the race and do everything they can under green without extending the race. Yeah. I'm totally about it. I liked it. It was exciting. It created an awesome moment, and I've seen a lot of people kind of like, oh, it's so dangerous and this and that. It's like, I agree with you to a certain extent, but if trying to finish the race under green and 500 miles is too dangerous for you, maybe you shouldn't be racing IndyCar.
Yeah. So for me,
IndyCar is hella dangerous.
Yeah. For me, I think this race actually kind of helped me understand. Like, I was like, because I've never been a huge fan of NASCAR's overtime situation, like the way they handle it. Like, I honestly can't knock it too much because I honestly don't have a better alternative to do it. But it kind of made me feel like, okay, this makes a little more sense now, like why NASCAR does what they do and stuff. I understand it. I'm with Jake. I'm with you. I'm with you guys. Like, finishing under green. I mean, we got an absolutely exciting finish as a fan. The problem, of course, is it's dangerous, and I guess people are saying, hey, it's you're creating danger, but it's like these guys are doing 240 miles an hour at full speed around a flat track. There's already danger. Like, danger's already ramped up.
Yeah.
So
I think with it being as competitive as it is, even if it runs green and there's no cautions, that last lap is still going to be just as crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, the drivers know what they're getting themselves into. They know the risks. They know they already have the reservations about everything. They've already got that
They've
shoved
weighted
out.
the calculations.
At that point in the race, they've already got that out of their head. They're like, I just want to win at this point. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And, they're not thinking about, oh, what if I get hurt? It's just like, if it happens, it happens that way. They know their risks.
Yeah.
So
Grandma likes your comment or your term, Jeff, race purist.
My comment.
Yeah, that was I stole it.
She said,
but,
Jeff, but
well,
I was
Grandma. I appreciate
all right,
it.
Grandma. No more watermelon punch for you.
Oh, that was fun. Anyway, so let's see. So, let's move on to our next topic. So, do you guys, and this is one will be for all of us, do you guys think that F1 is a threat to NASCAR with younger viewers?
I want to see what Nate has to say about this.
I would say, I really wanted to watch all 3 races. Unfortunately, I had to work the majority of the weekend, but I think younger viewers getting into racing in general is great, and it could easily those fans coming from F1 can easily turn into NASCAR fans or
like vice
Indy
versa.
fans and vice versa.
Right.
So I feel like younger fans getting into the sport in general is just great. for racing. Period. So I'm super about it. Younger viewers is always, the next generation is gonna have to take the torch, man. And I'm 30 years old and I'm just getting into NASCAR, and I am absolutely in love with NASCAR. So I could imagine younger viewers, man, this is the time to get into it, because then you can understand all of the ins and outs and rules and regulations and track packages. And so those younger fans, I hope they, do turn into NASCAR fans. I think it'd be great for the sport.
Yeah. So I think in general, the biggest threat that F1 has to NASCAR is, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a couple. I think one is you have shorter races, so it's easier for people to tune in quickly. Like, if you look at this weekend, obviously this weekend's not a perfect example because it's our endurance race versus, a normal race to them or whatever. But their races are shorter. They don't have commercials. That's part of it. But to be honest, I think something that I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about, there's a few people talking about it, is the video games.
Yeah.
NASCAR video games are terrible. They have been terrible.
They
for a
used
while.
to be.
They were
great.
fire. And what happened at that time when they were fire? That's when NASCAR was at its most highest popularity.
Then they made NASCAR Heat,
And then they started making NASCAR
which
Heat.
almost has ruined our friendships. So
several times.
several times.
So, so I think that, honestly, and I know there's several streamers that are really getting into iRacing and are starting to play, but they're starting with Formula One. They're not doing NASCAR.
Or road course racing.
Road course
it's not
racing.
the
You
NASCAR
don't see anyone doing mainstream NASCAR content.
Well, some of the NASCAR iRacing community on the open races is hella toxic.
That's true. That's true as well.
OG
You make
Call
a
of Duty.
mistake, you about to get cussed for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. So real quick before I toss it over to one of you guys, Kuzman says no. He said, I do like watching some of the strategies, but it's just not as exciting in general.
I think so. I don't think this. I think this is a non-factor. They're going to grow. You may get some of that younger fan base, but I think it's not. It's
think
not
it's a fad?
exciting enough to hold people's attention span. That's my problem. I mean, you have Red Bull's won every single race. Verstappen has won 4,
All but
and
one.
Perez has won 3, I think. So
I thought it was one.
no,
that Perez won.
Perez I think has won 2 or 3. Maybe it's just 2.
Whatever.
Anyways,
Anyway,
it's
it's
just domination,
Red Bull.
right? So people don't like a total dominated champion. It just doesn't work in motorsports. I don't know why. It's just not. I mean, Jimmy Johnson was hated forever because he won too much. Hated. Kyle Busch, when he was winning like crazy, hated. Now he's not winning. Jimmy Johnson's not hating. Now everybody loves him.
Yep.
Right? So I think it's a non-factor. The other problem with Formula One, I know we have 3 races in the States now, starting with this year. The races don't align with the American schedule.
Yeah.
That's
There's
honestly
not many
some of
people watching a race 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday.
it. Yeah.
I'm
Even
definitely not.
7 a.m. on a Sunday is a stretch.
Yeah.
I'm typically up early, so I watch everyone I can. But, if I'm working on Sunday, I can't stay up till 2:00 to start, or till 4:00 to watch a race that started at 2.
Yeah.
I just can't. So that is going to be the limiting factor.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that F1 is like a threat to NASCAR. I just think it's a different thing, a different entity altogether. That's the way I see it. Like, I don't mind sitting down and watching an F1 race, of course, like as we mentioned, when we can. And I don't mind sitting down and watching IndyCar when, NASCAR's not running at the same time or whatever the deal is. But it's a different kind of racing in each type of discipline, and discipline was the word I was looking for. But it's no different from IMSA and legend cars and sprint car racing and dirt cars and like all of and drag racing. All of these different disciplines of racing are just, they're different. They operate different. They have different rules. They have different cars, different speeds and different intensities.
And Kyle Larson wins all of them anyway.
I'm waiting for
like if you are a big fan of the Formula One style of racing, are you going to be drawn to oval racing?
I don't know.
If you're a huge fan of oval racing, does that
What I
does
think
that
it depends
are
on
you not as interested in, say, street course? So like just for me, and like just talking about iRacing, I enjoy the rhythmic and the momentum style racing of ovals versus road courses. I like some road courses, not bad, but I mean I always say I love Watkins Glen because it feels like an oval. The way you approach the corners gives me oval vibes. But that's my preference.
Yeah.
I try to watch as many of the big three motorsports as I can, but NASCAR is my preference.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying, NASCAR doesn't need to worry about competing with F1. It just needs to fix its own problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to attract younger fans, right? And then you just don't. They just don't execute well as
Yeah.
far as the younger demographic.
They're-
You don't have anything for kids, and you don't execute well. with the
Formula
younger
One is
demographic.
really good at engagement of their audience, right? Like they're
Yes.
very good, and they're much more. It's more high tech. It's more modern, so it's gonna draw the younger crowd in just naturally, just by itself.
Yeah.
So I think that they've definitely.
Well, I
like
think
you said,
Drive to
they fixed it.
Survive is a huge factor in this.
That was
And
huge.
NASCAR, that's when I'm saying the younger demographic, NASCAR doesn't have anything to compete with that. I'm not talking about on-track product, because NASCAR was the best this weekend, and it's typically the best every weekend as far as on-track product. It's
Yeah.
the best. Door banging, rough racing, guys hanging it all out to win. And you have how many
Drivers
different winners
shoving.
this year? This puts us at how many now?
8? No,
I
9.
lost track.
9, I think. I don't remember.
So NASCAR has 9, Formula One has 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that to me is more exciting. Your race is more competitive.
yeah.
Your series is more competitive. So they need something. I mean, NASCAR did their own show, right? But it was like
Honestly,
10 o'clock on USA.
It's a good show though. So like seriously, I do
Bruh,
recommend
it is
if you're
good,
out
but
there.
it's like 10 o'clock on like a Thursday. Like
Yeah.
it's just a
And-
weird time.
And it was on USA Network. It wasn't even like,
Like,
it was a
It's
main
not like a
network.
Okay,
Netflix
how about
exclusive
this?
or anything like that. You know, what I
we
mean?
don't need 2 hours
Amazon.
of pre-race. Do that. Give me take away an hour of the pre-race, which is just a lot of just fluff. I don't even know why we even have that. We don't even watch it.
I'd rather
What
have
if
an
what if
hour
you-
of pre-race.
Yeah.
And put
I
it
like
at the
watching
end.
the pre-race, but
I mean,
that's
I
just
do,
me.
but not 2 hours of it.
Yeah.
Today or yesterday was 2 hours scheduled. Typically it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
every
we're
week.
we're usually doing all kinds of different stuff. Running laps on the sim of whatever track
Yeah.
it is that week, doing all kinds of stuff, eating food, like just
and
like
it's on the
catching up.
background.
And it's on in the background, but we don't normally start paying attention until like opening ceremony.
But
So,
imagine
yeah.
like an hour and a half
If
before
that.
the race. What if you had the drive or what was it?
Race for the championship.
Race for the championship. You had an hour of that
Dude, I'd be
to
all
get
in.
you hype, and then a half hour. Okay, here we go, leading into the race.
that
Bro,
would
that
be
would
sweet.
be way fire.
That'd be
So
sweet.
to dial it back in, about it or not about it?
I don't even.
F1
well, the
F1
question
being a
was
threat.
yeah.
No, I don't think it's a threat.
So you're not about
me
it.
neither.
No,
I guess that's not really. That was my fault. That wasn't the best way to phrase
Yeah.
it.
no, it's a
well,
good topic.
you know what I
though. It's a
mean.
good conversation,
Yeah.
especially this weekend.
Nate, did you go?
Yeah,
I-
I said I was about the younger crowd.
I know
And
I
I
made
don't-
this confusing.
Yeah, you made it
Yeah.
confusing.
I'm sorry.
Well, do you think that F1 is necessarily a threat
Maybe not
to
about it
NASCAR?
or not about it. Yes or
I'm
no?
not about F1 being a threat to NASCAR. I think
You don't think it is? Okay. Yep. So let's move on to our last one, and this is the oval versus the roval. Lindsay, the roval, that is the road course and oval mixed together. Nate.
Yes, I know.
The oval.
Straight
knew you were
up,
gonna-
straight up ignored.
Mind blown.
All right. So let's go with Jake. Let's go with you first. What do you think? Oval versus the roval. I know this is not really
I'm
about. it, not about it.
kind of done with the Roval.
Really.
Yeah,
Not
last
about
year
it.
wasn't that great. So I want another Charlotte Oval. I'm bummed we got to wait a year for this race again. This was one of the best races last year. I think this will probably be one of the best races this year.
Probably.
Yeah. Bro, I want it again. It was so good.
So not about the roll.
No,
Yeah.
not about the
Let's
Roval.
do the roval versus just the roval. About it, not about it. Jeff.
I mean, because we have the Gen 7 car now, I'm about the oval and I'm not about the roval. I'd rather have, like I mentioned previously, I'd rather have the 400-mile race back.
Yep.
Like the roval was really, really fun the first like 2 times watching it.
I think with the old car.
Yeah.
With the old car, but it was just kind of like now that we have this new car, new package, new driving style, and everything, the Roval's very watered down compared to what it was when it started with the Gen 6. And so, yeah, I'm saying if it's going to be anything like this, we know it won't be the endurance race, attrition, fuel mileage, that kind of stuff, like the 600 is.
Yeah.
But if it's this competitive racing with that kind of package, I'm about bringing a second Charlotte oval date and getting rid
Yeah.
of the Roval.
If they make the racing on the Roval like the Gen 6, then I'm fine with leaving the Roval. But it was just lackluster, I think, in my opinion.
I would have
last
to.
year.
I would have to agree with that. So like, I'd be about it if they keep the same package. But I am a big fan of road courses just from watching COTA so far. So I would have to say for that, I would probably be about the Roval just because I
I'm
really
interested
enjoy
to see
road
how
courses.
this develops
Yeah.
throughout the years. We see more road courses.
Yeah, I've been like a holdout because like I love the idea of the Roval. Like I think it's super cool because there's, as far as I'm aware, with the exception of the
Daytona.
the Daytona,
the
with-
Doval.
yeah, the Doval as we tried to name it. In with the endurance racing, you don't see people running on an oval and a road course at the same time. And I love the idea of like, hey, do you set your car up more on like a road course setup, or do you set it up more for like the intermediate? I love that idea. So I always thought like the Roval, I'm like, yeah, super cool. Like, and I loved it the first couple of years. And as every year has gone on, the Roval is just kind of like,
It's taking small
it
steps
just-
down in interest.
yeah.
But the real killer is the last year's Coke 600 was incredible.
And this year,
And as soon as that race was incredible, everyone's like, why are we racing on the road course in the fall?
yeah, and
Nah.
now
She's
it's
got to go.
now, especially because now it's not that it's like, oh well, that was a fluke, that was one race. Now we've had 2 fire races
I only watched
Absolute-
the Roval to watch him wreck in turn 1.
to watch
You-
Chase
you
Elliott
know what-
forget to turn,
you know what my
disconnect
thoughts
his
are?
controller.
Disconnect
On the
his
Roval?
controller.
Get it out of here.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, and I think this week specifically, it was like, all right, I'm finally come to the realization where I like, all right, the Roval, not about it. And I'm just like, it hurts me a little bit because I like the idea of it, but nah.
Yeah.
Especially after these last couple races at the actual oval. So, all right, let's move on to our last section. So this is our Kuzman and Friends question of the week. So we named it after our good friend Kuzman. Actually, Jake, while you want to look up, he sent something in the chat. I'll let you look at it real quick. But this is basically, we have, you can send us your questions on Twitter, and if we like the questions, we will answer them on the show. It's called Kuzman and Friends because Kuzman almost always sends us something, and sometimes we have extra people in there. So, all right, Jake, what do we got?
All right. Question of the week. What gimmick, this is throwing it back to the All-Star last week. What gimmick or change would you introduce for the All-Star race weekend to make it more popular and or interesting?
That's a good question.
Fireworks on the track. Explosions, potholes. I don't know.
I want to jump coming out of turn 3.
I think
We're
we
gonna
should
evil
really.
Knievel this.
I think we should really start taking Tony Stewart seriously and just start running the figure eights or running backwards. I don't know.
halfway through the race, you stop and then turn around and go the other direction. Have we ever showed you those interviews of Tony Stewart saying that
We'll
stuff?
have to watch
sounds
some of
hilarious.
those.
Dude.
It's basically, Tony Stewart's he was an owner but also a driver at the time, and he got wrecked out of a super speedway race, and he was just being super sarcastic
It was a
in this
huge
interview.
wreck.
Yeah.
And he was just
Almost
saying,
the entire field.
like, man, if only I could just be out there to wreck one more time. If I could just wreck one more car, it would just be perfect.
And so he's going on. It's just
He's like, you know what? Let's just turn around and go backwards.
Yeah. Or like you mean like Kyle Busch today?
yeah.
Back it up,
back it up,
Terry.
Terry.
Back it up, Kyle.
But it was just really funny because he was just super sarcastic about it, and he was like, if I don't come to the racetrack and spend like $500,000 in race cars, I just feel like a
race
failure.
cars.
I just feel like
All
a
right,
failure.
let's back it
Something
back.
like
All
that.
right, so
Yeah,
the
yeah,
question
sorry.
is,
Yeah.
if
Seriously.
you could do anything to the format of the All-Star race, I mean, I open this up to anything. Move it, anything you want to do to it. What would you do?
Anyone want to go first? Because
I'll go first. I
Okay.
want to go back to Charlotte. I want to make it probably 100 laps and probably do like 20 lap segments and then a 10-lap shootout at the end and mix it up with different tire compounds, multiple tire compounds.
Oh, that's kind of
Like
interesting.
the kind of F1 has a soft and hard. NASCAR tried that a little bit, and we saw a little bit of that last week with the
Rain
rain tire versus the hard slick. So
Man.
that's probably what I would do. I'd probably go back to Charlotte.
I think what I would probably do is I like the idea of keeping it a short track, and I think every year it should be in a different short track across the country. Now, the problem with across the country is it's hard to say let's do an all-star race, a short race, and it'd be on the other side of the country, because you got teams that, like, if for example the qualifiers and all that stuff, how are you going to have them race come all the way, like to, say California, all the way out to California, and they run like 50, 100 laps and then they don't make it, and then they got to go all the way back. That's one of the big complaints they have.
I think one of the caveats I would do too is no more All-Star Open.
Yeah, I think so.
No more All-Star Open.
Yeah,
Although that was the best race last weekend.
It
but
was.
Just make it just about the winners. Nobody wants to be the fan vote.
yeah, that's true.
You're not even the best of the rest. You're the most liked of the rest. I mean, that's
Yeah.
who wants to be that guy? Oh, you suck so bad you can't get in the race, and enough
everybody
people
likes you though.
Yeah, so you'll be in.
That's like saying, but they have a great personality.
If that was me, I would.
We
is
like
it
your
me,
big
or is that
hat,
like
Gregson.
embarrassing?
You're in.
Is that just me? Is that kind of embarrassing?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing. You still get the
Just
race.
to run last the entire All-Star race?
I mean, it depends. Wasn't it? Well, hold on. Has there been a fan boat actually win?
I don't know.
I mean, I
There's
don't.
been people that have won the Open and then
Open.
won the All-Star race.
Larson, I think, actually has.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah. So
Or
I
a
mean,
handful of years ago.
I mean, I guess something I think of is, being a huge baseball fan, going the baseball style where it's literally just everyone is a fan vote. Like, you just vote, you have X amount of slots, and you just vote everyone in, and whoever gets the top 10 most votes, that's who
okay,
you're.
that'd be a little
My
different.
only
Something
my
I'm- just
only
a thought.
contradiction to that would be then you're not an all-star. It's just a fan vote, and it's not the best of the best.
Right.
That is
Whereas if you won a race in the last year, that makes you the best of the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, I would say, would make it the best version of the All-Star race. You have the best of the best, the players with the most winners, right? But you don't have a full field, right? It only because you see in All-Star race, in All-Star game in every other sport, it's only the best of the best.
Yep.
Not everybody can make those games.
But
And
wouldn't that be almost like very, very similar to a Clash? Like,
Yeah, but the Clash is
Well,
basically
like-
the same as the All-Star.
And what-
race.
that's what
I'm
well,
saying.
even the
Like,
Clash,
that-
the
wouldn't that
Clash
just be-
now, everybody's invited.
well, what I'm saying
Yeah.
is like if you did that with the All-Star race, you just basically be swapping the old Clash format for the new All-Star format, and you just be swapping them.
That
check-
you know what I mean?
that is the original All-Star format. They added the Open
Right.
to try to spice it up and try to get as many people in as possible.
and I also think that there should be 2 teams.
What do you mean?
Just like every other All-Star game, right? You have the West versus the East, right? Or like in baseball,
how would you do it, though? How would you split
American
them up?
versus the
I see what you're saying,
Not-
but how would you split it though?
somehow, some way, split it so that you have 2 teams and those All-Stars. Now those 2 teams, number one, it brings more camaraderie to the drivers, right? So
What if you made it
'cause
like
now
a
you
charity
can have
thing?
multiple. So
A donation to charity or something.
exactly. So like it'll be like 10 drivers, the best 10 drivers, right? No, check it out.
I'm so lost.
Look, check it out. So you would have like the best 10 drivers, right? And so it'll be 2 teams of 5. Now those 5 drivers have to help each other to like at least be the best team, like have the best score. You know what I mean? I
So
don't know.
basically, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say but the thing is you could have Toyotas and Fords and Chevys all be on that one team
Exactly.
because they're competing for 2 separate teams for 2 separate reasons, whatever it is.
So now not everybody's battling each other. You have to help your team, bump them or whatever
Take struggle.
for everybody to get.
I see
in
what you're
front.
saying,
Bro,
No,
I
I get it.
just
don't
don't
know.
connect because racing is selfish.
It is.
Exactly. So why not make the All-Star race something different?
Yeah, so you're thinking totally different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like
Yeah,
and
okay.
unite the drivers more, just like they do in every other sport. Because in every other sport, everybody's
conglomeration
battling.
of
Yeah,
a
everybody's
bunch of
battling
things.
each other. But you know what? Why not for the just one race of the year? Get the drivers on each other's
so
side.
I watched a lot of Top Gear as a kid, and it's like British Top Gear, like the good one. And they did a race one time where they were competing with people, and they did car racing where they were stacked on top of each other, and the car on top steered, and the car
Oh
on the
my
bottom
God.
was the gas
That
and the
would be-
brake.
I think I've seen that.
You ever seen a chain race?
No,
Yeah, it gives me that vibe.
Well, I guess another small idea. I know it's kind of a Darlington thing to do,
Like Mario Kart team racing is what Kuzman said.
Hey, there you go. That's a good one.
You get a star power up. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
just got a feeling
gonna
that this
say,
is not what
throw
Kuzma
turtle
was thinking.
shells.
I was gonna say I know it's a Darlington thing, but watching All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro last week was giving everyone like vintage
Throwback
vibes. Maybe moving Throwback Weekend to that weekend.
I'm
Wait,
on board.
as long as it would be
move
at-
Throwback Weekend to North Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
Period. Whatever race that is. I know we're talking about like ideas for the All-Star Race, but if they were to keep the All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro, that would be a great time. I mean, even seeing Harvick run the OG 29 like at the All-Star Race, it was sick. And it was
Yeah.
just like it added to the nostalgia of the whole weekend. And so you know, I think that would be a good advertisement to kind of maybe boost up the attendance or boost up the viewership of it, because a lot of people really enjoy Throwback Weekend.
Yeah.
So I think that if you were to put that on
On
All
top
Star,
of it.
it would
Maybe.
be like
Yeah.
an added bonus to it. So
Yeah.
just a thought.
I think as long as the racing's good, you can almost do whatever you want with the format.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so I mean, if you have good hard racing, then you won't need gimmick cautions or something like that.
I mean, yeah, like we said, based off of how this car races on 1.5 miles, and
That's why I want to
intermediate,
see it back at Charlotte.
Back at Charlotte would be a fire race. So
One of the things I saw that was super cool was you're allowed to bring the next gen car,
oh yeah,
and as long as you use those parts and you don't introduce a foreign part, set it up however you want. No rules.
That would be
Interesting.
sweet.
Yep. Or come back, huge motor.
So
1,000
basically what
horsepower.
Kyle Larson
You
did
are
last
just
week
dying
anyway.
to have.
yeah. What Kyle Larson
So
did
basically
last
what
week.
Kyle Larson did last week anyway.
Yeah.
We all know that car was cheated up, bro.
There's no way.
There's
no,
no
it
way.
was innovative.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, there you
You
go.
are dying to see them 1,000 horsepower motors, bro.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right. So thank you, Mr. Kuzman. We appreciate you. And if you guys out there have any questions you'd like to see us answer, we're very active on social media, specifically on Twitter. So if you want to have a question you want to see us answer on the show, we'd be more than happy to do that. Let's talk about, as we start to wrap things up, let's talk about where we're going next week. We're going to Gateway next week. I mean, we're not, but NASCAR is. So
We'll be
Okay,
watching.
I
Gateway.
wouldn't want to go there anyway.
I don't know that I would want to. So what are we looking forward to at Gateway?
Looking forward to?
Yeah.
Probably not much.
I'm not looking.
I think it's going
I
to
can
be.
tell you we're not going to probably see Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to Illinois.
I'm looking forward to the watermelon punch.
I want to, see how well Josh Berry does there. No, I think here's what I think. So, I want to say this right.
Oh, geez. You have to think.
No,
about
I think after this week and this race being this good, next week's going to disappoint. It's going to be
Yeah.
a very mid, a very average race, but because of the high that we're coming off of this whole weekend, let alone not just a 600, it's going to feel like a letdown. That's my gut feeling based off of how this car is going to run on Gateway.
Is Gateway considered a short track?
No, I
No.
think it's right at a mile or a little over a mile.
So it's like more like Dover then.
Yeah.
It's like a big New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
Turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are a little bit different. Imagine like a New Hampshire and Darlington mix, so where the track's a little egg shaped, but it's flat like New Hampshire,
Okay.
kind of in that vibe.
Gotcha. So
So I think it'll be okay, but it won't be. I doubt it'll be spectacular.
I
Yeah.
think if anything, I'd like to see some of the drama from this week kind of carry over. Maybe you'll see some stuff. I mean, well, I guess it obviously depends if Elliott's going to be racing.
I don't think you see anything from Denny
but-
Hamlin.
Almirola doors Wallace into the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Like seeing, maybe
Bubba shoves Almirola.
maybe that'll be
I think Denny
and not
Hamlin's
in the car either.
I
Just
think
shoves him.
Denny Hamlin's revenge is going to be him getting Chase Elliott suspended. If he does that, then he'll be
he'll be
satisfied.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, just maybe some of the drama carrying over into that. I guess I'm looking forward to seeing just how some of these teams operate going into that kind of track. I like to see these come up dudes like Tyler Reddick and Busher has been showing some speed.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the momentum from Blaney. I know he's had like a long drought of winning. Maybe this will give him some boost that he needs. Truex Jr.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are kind of the things I'll be looking for when I watch.
Nate.
Yeah, I'm looking. Like I say this all the time. I'm looking forward to every single race this year. This is my first year watching NASCAR as a newbie, so I'm excited about every single race.
Yeah, just excited for the experience, man.
For real, man.
Yeah. If I remember right, I thought Gateway was a pretty good race last year.
Because of Ross Chastain and the Denny Hamlin
Oh,
drama,
that's true.
and then he also raced
Well-
Chase. He wrecked Chase Elliott.
And there was also
So Chastain wrecked 2 cars last year, and both of them were trying to wreck him every chance they could.
it was really entertaining.
Other than
and then
that,
there was
what else
there was
was there?
Brad and was it Austin Dillon? There was
Oh,
like
yeah.
some kind of thing where like
Yeah.
was it Austin basically ran him all the way off the track almost?
Man, I forgot about that.
I do too.
I just vaguely remember that.
So I mean, you did have some drama. So hopefully the hard racing there will produce some on track drama, but we'll see. I hope
Yeah.
it's good.
Me too. So all right, you guys have anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
Yeah, just thanks to all the Gold Star families today on Memorial Day weekend.
Absolutely.
You know, it's
Yep.
so glad that racing is, you know, like racing on this weekend, like it's the forefront of everything, right? You know, it's being, you know, remembering and just being respectful and putting the names on drivers' cars, bringing tons of service members out of the track. So it's awesome, man. You know, just the whole weekend was great. You know, we still got about 100 laps of the Xfinity race to go. Good news is it just crossed halfway, so it's official if it rains.
Yeah.
Well, we
But,
think it is. The
yeah,
app keeps crashing.
I really appreciate the philanthropy that NASCAR does, specifically on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
But I mean, every week as well. I mean, even on the NASCAR broadcast, there's always something at least once a week talking about something that is that NASCAR does that's helping someone out, and I really love that about our sport.
Yeah.
That's
God
just
bless America.
awesome. Yeah, but it was incredible. I love seeing all the names, trying to read them as the cars go by, and just really,
guys
you
will have
know,
some
think
fast
about
eyes.
well, you know, like even if they're on like pit lane or whatever, and just trying to like really read and remember those people, and just think about how good I've got it, and I'm super thankful for that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to read the chat?
Yeah, I was gonna say, read the chat, Nate.
Wait, Roval?
No,
No.
just scroll down all the way.
No. You got to read the YouTube live chat.
Grandma says do it.
Pass that to Nate.
Grandma says do it.
See what he says.
Oh my gosh, this is so. If you're listening on audio, I
Which
apologize.
thing?
He's trying to read. He's got the phone.
In honor of Memorial Day, Nate will sing the national anthem. That is not happening. But
One day.
I think everyone should petition that I sing the national anthem
Hey.
at a NASCAR race, because that is a dream of mine as of recently.
That would be sick.
As of recently,
Well, I mean, it's only
it's only been for a
it's
year.
only been because like Nate's like, man, I
can
can
do-
do better than all of these people, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Or better than the guy that sounded like a
Atlanta.
shrieking dog.
At
Hey,
Atlanta.
you realized like he's done a couple more and he's doing it on everyone
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Is he
That's
really?
not a great signature.
Total
move.
disgrace.
That's
disrespectful.
All right, y'all. So, all right. So let's wrap it up. So as always, it's been a very fun week, but we got to get some rest.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a long weekend, and we got to get back to work. So
You got to go to work tomorrow.
yeah, unfortunately. All right. See you guys.
Later.
Oh, Lindsay was
Still
dropping
on
in the
YouTube.
chat.
Still on YouTube, guys.
Oh,
Mom's
on
for Laney.
YouTube.
Mom's.
Chat, I dropped new merch.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
New merch. If you're still on YouTube, check us out.
Check it out. New merch.
Otherwise,
Jeff,
we're
look
gonna be
how
wrapping
dumb
up.
we look on YouTube.
Wait, what?
Look at us. We're so stupid.